Hey, I'm Supats, lifelong solopreneur. Now living my life with only one passion to help solopreneurs to launch their digital products on fast track so that they can be profitable as fast as within 1 week, and they want to scale, they can join the membership. And as a bonus, I show them how they can sell their digital products all over the world using affiliates. Without further delay, let's get started. Welcome to New Beginning Inspiration for You podcast. And I'm really excited for today's episode because when I started my business, especially the digital business, I was dabbling a lot about social media because you hear mixed messages. Some people say TikTok, that is the thing. Then some people say Instagram, you should be on Instagram, you do Insta sell. Then someone says, no, Facebook is the best. And I spent my due diligence in every platform, like 6 months trying to work out and all. I was also on Alignable. And finally, I realized the LinkedIn is the best platform for me. I do B2B and B2C, but nothing gives me results like LinkedIn. And I don't think even I'm utilizing LinkedIn full fledged. I'm always willing to learn. But my goodness, there's so many capabilities LinkedIn has, and people are absolutely not using. You will be shocked what percentage of people are posting even any anything on LinkedIn. It's really he will give you all the numbers. I'm not going to go into details, but I'm just excited for today's episode. I'm going to learn a lot, and I'm pretty sure you will also learn a lot. And what happened with me, it is the best platform. No, I'm having every month LinkedIn events and they are producing like crazy, but still I'm here to learn because I'm not utilizing all the features and benefits of LinkedIn. And for that, we have Daniel Alfon. He is going to tell us how you can use LinkedIn. He is a LinkedIn specialist. And without further delay, let me invite Daniel. And hey, stage is all yours. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Sue. What
Okay,
an amazing
so I
intro.
just
Let's do
wanted to
this.
ask you, why LinkedIn?
It's a great question. And let's go back to the other social platforms you mentioned, TikTok and Instagram. The simplest question solopreneurs could ask themselves is, where are my clients? And some entrepreneurs will say, if you sell makeup, then maybe Instagram is the way to go. But if you have a B2B business, or if there's a portion of your business that's B2B, no media can beat LinkedIn. 1 billion users, Sue, and hundreds of people have joined since we started this chat. Every second, three
Yeah,
people
that's
sign up.
really good. And I also actually looked into another platform called Alignable, and I went on their networking events, and I realized that most of the people who were joining the networking events had brick and mortar businesses, and nothing wrong with that, but those were not my ideal customer profile. And then I realized LinkedIn, I have all variety of people, and basically I can surely focus on just digital business owners, and that's why it worked for me. So I have profile on all the social media platforms, but I have really limited time. I just see where I can spend my time to get the maximum returns. And what you said is perfectly right. Nothing can touch LinkedIn. You're absolutely right. Tell me about your story. How did you get started on your business? What is the journey?
With pleasure. So imagine a night I was working late and I was a sales executive, and I was spending a third of my time just to identify the right decision maker within the company. And one evening, I remember LinkedIn showing me the names of people by their title, the VP operation, the VP sales, and the co-founders. And that helped me slash my sales cycle by 30%. That was way back. I signed up for LinkedIn early in 2004, and I haven't looked back since because LinkedIn is an amazing platform. And like you rightly said, most people use a small
Yeah,
portion of
means
it.
getting actually hundreds of people attending my events, and still I feel I'm just scratching the surface. I'm not utilizing all the things what LinkedIn is providing, and I'm here to learn. So just tell me, okay, I know people are not utilizing LinkedIn properly and fully, but what are they doing wrong? Because even if they stop doing wrong, that can help them. I want to know what even I am doing wrong with LinkedIn, what others are doing wrong.
Great. So I'm sure many of our viewers and listeners are using LinkedIn, right? Let's suggest a couple of questions everyone can ask themselves and see whether it fits them or not. Because LinkedIn has job hunt connotation, many solo entrepreneurs think it's a place to basically add their online CV. And like you said, there's nothing wrong with brick and mortar. There's nothing wrong with job hunting. But if you're a solopreneur, then you shouldn't care about online CV. What interests your ideal client is why trust you? What do you offer, and what is your story? So look at your CV, look at your LinkedIn profile. I'm sorry again, and rewrite it and consider it as a website, an extension to your own website, an extension to nubeginning.com, where people can understand, oh, I'm visiting Sue's profile and I see that she can help me sell my digital products. And that is way more important for them than to realize that maybe in 2016 or 2012, you're working for company X or company Y. Look at your profile from your ideal client's perspective and try to answer their questions. That is the simplest and basically
Absolutely,
first
that's
step
so
to
good
achieve.
because everybody has only one channel. What's in it for me? You know? So I remember I have a team and they were creating offers for me, and then they wrote a full story of me, that how I was bedridden and how I was recovered and what all the things, my educational background and all. And I read that and I said, nobody cares. Nobody cares my educational background. Nobody cares. Okay, I was bedridden and all. Okay, I will tell my story maybe in a webinar when I want to relate to people that, okay, I have struggles and challenges and all. But nobody cares. They are just looking, they are just glancing and what's in it for me? What can she give me? What results she can give me? What transformation she can create in my life? And this is so important because when LinkedIn, when they look at your profile, your about section and many other sections, they need to know what you can do for them. They really don't care what your background is. And I also heard that
But I'm sorry.
actually somebody contacted me about AI lead generation, and then I said I'm really happy with LinkedIn. I'm not looking for AI lead generation. Then he replied me back. He said, LinkedIn is only there only people sell, so means basically it is full of sellers. So then I replied to him, I said, yeah, it is full of sellers. That means someone is buying, right? So what is your opinion? Because he told me LinkedIn is not for lead generation because there everybody is trying to just sell something. So what is your opinion?
Okay, so that's a great angle. Let's add another perspective to it. The only audience that is even more that is greater than sellers on
Yeah.
LinkedIn are buyers. Most of LinkedIn's growth is outside of the US now, and you can identify anyone very easily. And the challenge is how to lead them into your funnel. And just like in real life, you wouldn't meet someone and immediately offer your services. That's something that's difficult for solopreneurs to understand. You have a real life personality, you have a real life sales process. And the way to do it is to duplicate or adapt that funnel into LinkedIn. You don't knock on someone's door and you say, I don't know what you need, but I've got what's best for you. Here it is. That doesn't work. You have to listen, you have to ask questions. And maybe at the end of the road, when you help them move from A to B, now they're ready to hear about C. And now you show them a whole new world. I was only thinking about launching my product, but Sue can help me now grow my business and scale. But if initially you said, let me scale your business, nobody would even understand what you're talking about. So real life hasn't changed the way
Yeah,
people's minds are
that's
wired.
so true. That's so true. Also, there was a lot of things, controversy, or you can just say a lot of discussion going about LinkedIn audio events, because sometimes people say they were so successful, then LinkedIn took it away and all. So, what do you want to say about LinkedIn audio events?
LinkedIn is playing with audio events. It's late to the market. I don't see many people attending audio events right now. Maybe if LinkedIn pushes it in a more meaningful way, it could be interesting. But everyone has their own platform of choice to listen to podcast or other content. If I'd like to listen to the beginning, I could go to Apple Podcast or I could go to Spotify. And maybe sometime I would go to LinkedIn, but on LinkedIn I would try to do something else, like unique. Maybe when you run an event, you run excellent events, maybe offer participant an audio event where you would offer only people who subscribe to your channel or add themselves to your mailing list, like an additional extra benefit for those who attended. And that could be an audio event. It could be a Q&A. It could be answers to people's questions, like an addition, something that would make it more interesting and
Okay,
more
yeah,
compelling from their
that's a good
perspective.
one. That's a good strategy, sure. And what is your opinion about the post parties? Because on LinkedIn there are some post parties, and you can pay monthly, and then you can get engagement on your post. So, what is your opinion about post parties? Okay.
I'm not in favor of them. No offense. And I would say that for most entrepreneurs and most solopreneurs, the question to ask is, how large is my network? And do I need that extra artificial engagement, if you like? Because if you have a pod, then people start seeing that Sue has liked or commented on things that are not relevant for them. And at one point, they might become blind to your own content. That is something that we don't want to do. So try not to focus on vanity metrics. Try to look at real life metrics. What is the process? And can you use LinkedIn in order for you to get, say, 10% or 20% more strategy free calls? Then you, Sue, would know that you can convert, say, 80% of those people. So if you manage to add an additional 20%, that results in real life dollars. That's great. And it's better to have a 20% increase in your bank account with zero likes than 2,000 gazillions likes with
That is
zero
so
money in
true.
your
Means
banking
really,
account.
because I realized I was part of post parties, and people, same set of 15 people, they'll comment your post, but they were not my ideal customer profile. They were we were just trying to engage with each other's content just because it's a part of the post parties. And then I realized, the majority conversion happens when I wish somebody happy birthday, or if I say, yeah, means basically congrats on your anniversary. And in that message, if I mention about my upcoming event, that converts way better than going for this post parties. Plus, I didn't have time, because you have to set the schedule time and you have to engage during that duration time and all, you know, means you have life and there's so many things going on. I just couldn't allot time myself for the post parties, and it was becoming very hard. This finally means basically I'm not part of it, and I'm really happy to hear from a LinkedIn expert that okay, I made a good choice, because I worked with couple of LinkedIn experts and they were trying to push post parties on me, and it is very reassuring for me to know that okay, my decision was right. Thank you, thank you. And what is your opinion?
You're
What is
welcome.
your
Let's
opinion
let's.
about the sales
I'm
navigator?
sorry. Yes. Sales Navigator, let's remind our viewers, is a premium product that LinkedIn offers basically corporate users. So I'm not bad-mouthing Sales Navigator, but if a person listening is a solopreneur, they would not understand what Sales Navigator could bring them. Because the power of Sales Navigator happens when you have thousands of accounts, thousands of employees. So maybe our viewers have, a virtual assistant and a collaborator, three people, and that's fine. They don't need Sales Navigator. The resource they need to invest is not money, it's time. The more you dig into LinkedIn, the more you understand the power of what LinkedIn could bring you, and then you'll get a better ROI. You don't have to spend money on LinkedIn Premium. You only need to learn the platform and see what works for you. So what works for you is not necessarily what would work for someone else.
You
Certainly not a
know, you
corporate
won't believe how
executive.
much actually peace of mind you are giving me, because, yeah, really, because I didn't opt for Sales Navigator because I was just not sure. It's because I want the things to be happening in a natural way. I want to attract my clients in a natural way and not like look for in particular category and approach them. And that's why I was not opting for Sales Navigator. And you are reassuring my decisions. It is so comforting. Means I'm really happy. Yeah, and. What about engagement? What do you suggest? Because somebody told me that, if your post is coming on LinkedIn at 8 a.m. in the morning, then half an hour before the post, you start engaging with other people. And then half an hour after your post, you engaging with other people so that your post will get engagement. What is your opinion about that?
Let's say that even if it could work, would you naturally comment on people's post if you didn't share anything on that day? And some of our listeners will say, yes, I like commenting on other people's content. And to them, I would say, please do it. But if you're doing it mechanically because you want to gain traction to your own post, you don't have to do it because it doesn't make sense. And you would see it as a chore and as a burden to try commenting on people's profile.
Okay,
You don't have
yeah.
to.
And also, when we are talking about engagement and the comments, I also saw the statistics somewhere that 80% of the people who are commenting on LinkedIn posts, they are using AI comments. So, what is your opinion about that?
So it's true that LinkedIn offers you a suggestion. And the suggestion would be great point, great article, great share, and then you could tweak it. Basically, my philosophy is look at what LinkedIn offers you, but then ask yourself a couple of questions. Is it my voice? Some people would say, yes, that's the word I would use. And to them, I would say, great, take it as a template and then tweak it and change it because great idea doesn't make sense. It looks mechanical, it looks artificial, it looks ungenuine, and we had better have one meaningful comment than five lame comments. quality still rules. And it would take us time to craft that one interesting comment. Like the comment that would engage is actually ending with a question. Not only would you say, hey, this is great, you could ask, what do you think about taking that point and just like the questions you're asking about AI, do you think AI would work in that case? And the author would love answering your question, and that would drive more
Yeah,
people to
thank you,
see your
thank you.
content.
That is so good because I remember I had posted one story about me, and somebody commented, and at the end he asked, "So what did she do next?" I said, "Who is she? This is the story about me." And it was so obvious that comment was written by AI, and that person who was commenting had no clue about the post. And it was so funny. I said, okay, because generally, if someone comments on my post, I make a choice to reply back because I want to say thank you. So I reply back, and then I read the comments, I reply back, and then I say, who is she? What you're talking about here? I'm talking about myself. I just shared my story. But yeah, it clearly shows that, yeah, you can get some suggestions from AI, but you have to put your brand, your voice, your emotions into it, and then you have to make it sure that that is a your comment. Yeah, that's perfectly great suggestion. And how many times? Okay, go.
You know, if people
No, no,
just,
no, no. You say.
I'm sorry, go ahead. We're looking for shortcuts where no shortcuts actually exist. And if we only dedicated 10% of the effort we're trying to craft shortcuts into real, genuine networking, we would have better
That is
results
really means,
in less time.
yeah, business is always based on authenticity and your genuineness, and you have to portray it at every level. It's not going to happen that if your approach is mechanical, then your service is going to be authentic. It is not going to happen because what you are, you portray at every stage of your business, at every stage of your life. So that is so true. No, I have a question.
I'm only quoting for the best. Last week, you shared a YouTube video, and the title was The Power of Genuine Relationships in Business. And I think it's a very short and very interesting video to any solopreneurs thinking about networking. And what you said there is simple and it makes
Yeah.
sense. Go and
In
watch it.
actually every social media, they have a different algorithm. For example, TikTok, they say you can post 3 videos per day to get maximum engagement. Instagram story, they recommend you post 5 stories per day to get some kind of results conversion. What is the ideal algorithm for LinkedIn post? How many times we should post on LinkedIn?
Let me ask you a stupid question. Do we even need to post on LinkedIn? And what I mean by that, what I mean by that is simple. So you leverage LinkedIn a lot more than many of our viewers and many of our listeners. And your network and your connections and your followers is around 10K. So it could make sense for you to decide that you're sharing on a daily basis. But if someone listening has 1,200, it doesn't make sense to them to have a quota of once a day because very few people will actually see it. So one, what is the size of your network? And if you have a sizable network, then ask yourself, what is the best frequency? And I'm sorry to break it to people, but most of our network is not that keen and interested in seeing what we post. We want to make them look forward to seeing what we share and not seeing again that gentleman that always talks about A, B, and C. I know what they're doing. I become blind
This
to
is
their
so assuring
contents.
because again, really, um, don't have time to keep on creating new content every day and posting. So, and it's a lot of pressure, means basically then you take away the fun and enjoyment in the process. So now that pressure is off, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, my community, my family will be blessed, because you are taking away the main pressure people have. Because yeah, you know, you have to create authentic and engaging content, and but it has to be every day and all, and then it puts lot of pressure. But now you took away that pressure, and I'm pretty sure everyone is really blessed. Thank you. I personally feel so relieved. Thank you.
My pleasure, Sue. We're here to benefit from LinkedIn, and the LinkedIn platform has to serve us and not the other way around. We're not servants in LinkedIn's sphere. We should benefit from it. My first article was about sharing frequency, and the bottom line, in most cases, you don't have to share. Actually, in some cases, it would make more sense for you to send that resource to one person. But say, hi, Jane. Last time we spoke, you mentioned your digital course. Here's something I would like you to look at. Tell me what you think. And that would take less than a minute, and you could engage and help that person. And that could also result
That
in
is
good business.
absolutely
It's
true,
not
really true.
contradictory.
And I read a DM, every DM on LinkedIn, and I absolutely don't read any DMs on Instagram or Facebook, because most of the time their DMs are, oh, sponsor your post on my platform, sponsor, yeah, sponsor this and that, and all junk. I mean, and but here at least I get meaningful DMs, and there might be jerks, maybe like 0.1% and all, but 99.999% people are professional, and my experiences with them are really, really good. I also heard that if you are
It's
hosting or
great.
guesting podcast, LinkedIn is the best platform to promote podcast. And so tell us, how can we link LinkedIn and podcast together and grow both at the same time?
What we what we could do is analyze our sales process and our growth engine, and then ask ourselves, where is the best use of LinkedIn? Usually for many solopreneurs, it would be top of funnel educational content. So let's take an example. You ask yourself, what questions are my prospects struggling with? And at 4 a.m., if someone wakes you up, you can say A, B, and C. So perhaps you could either curate or create content around that topic. And I would suggest use it on your website. Go to nuBeginning.com and add it as a blog or as a video, whatever you like, and then share it on LinkedIn. But you don't have to serve the LinkedIn machine. Okay, the LinkedIn machine is, we're basically renting the space, but LinkedIn could go out tomorrow. The best kept secret in town is to know when to leave the platform. If you found someone interesting, you don't have to communicate with them on LinkedIn. At one point, you could go and message them and offer a virtual coffee or jump on a Zoom call. And that would make, in many cases, a better case than DMing
Oh, that
500
is
times the
so
same person.
valuable. You made really important point. You write a blog and then share it on LinkedIn. That helps even for your website SEO. That's the really big time. It is such an important tip, and I think people have been overlooking that. And you are just giving nuggets and nuggets at each and every point. It's really, I'm really thankful. So, how can we monetize the podcast? Means this actually, I'm taking little bit away from LinkedIn, because you are podcast expert too. So I saw your podcasting profile, and it's really amazing. So tell me, how can we monetize podcast?
That's probably $1 billion question. The only person I know that could monetize the industry is Alex Sanfilippo, who, thanks to Podmatch, we basically communicate now because he's created like dating for podcast hosts and podcast guests, and that's an ideal way to get into podcasting and to see the New Beginning page and to see previous episodes. If we go back to LinkedIn, then instead of monetizing the podcast, what we could do is monetize our business. In other words, instead of trying to chase another listener, try to remember who your ideal client is and use your network and leverage your network to get and introduce to that person. And when that person visits your profile, so they would see that you're a thought leader thanks to the podcasts. You don't have to hide them. It's fine. But the sales process could be taken outside of LinkedIn. And if you run a simple search, a simple advanced search, less than 2 minutes, my guess is 90% of people will identify one interesting prospect. And you limit it to people with whom you share a mutual connection. And then you reach out to that person and you say, "Hi, how have you been? I would like to speak with John Doe, and I see you two are connected. Here's the link to their profile. Do you know them well enough? Would you mind sharing, making an introduction?" And if that person helps you, then you get to speak with a decision maker and you get real life business, real life monetization. Not thanks to your podcast, thanks to the introduction. But when they see the New Beginning podcast, they say, "Okay, I would like to speak with Sue because I see that she is doing
Thank you, thank
things.
you,
Let's do
thank you.
this."
That's a really great point, and I will make sure that I will implement what I'm learning, because otherwise, just I don't want means knowledge constipation. I'm pretty sure I will implement that, and I'm pretty sure our listeners also will too. Surely. So, what is the LinkedIn connection strategy? Because LinkedIn suggests, okay, these people are suitable depending on your previous activity. But what can you suggest? How can we give connectivity request? Or I just want to know more about your insights about the LinkedIn connectivity.
So you mentioned a connection policy, and I'm afraid that 90% of our listeners don't have one. So I would start by suggesting have connection policy. And if you have a connection policy, then you're better off than most LinkedIn users because most LinkedIn users basically react. They get an invitation, tomorrow they may say yes, last week they may have said no. So think on your feet, be clear about your goals, and ask yourself a simple question. Would I like to be the most connected or would I like to be the best connected? If you'd like to be the most connected and get exposure, then you need to have 10K, 20K. If you'd like to be the best connected, you need to know each and every one of your connections. And so they're mutually exclusive. You cannot be both the most and the best. Most is great, you have a lot of exposure. Best is great, you can have an introduction. Many solopreneurs start with best connected, think they need to get to most connected, but never become most connected. They end up in a dead man's end with 2,000 connections, thinking they have exposure, and they don't have exposure, and they don't have meaningful introductions. So pick one and have a connection strategy that
So
fits
basically,
your
you're
real life
telling
personality.
quality over quantity. Go for quality, but not quantity.
My guess is that many listeners don't have the size of your network, and to them it would make sense. But if you're listening and you have thousands of connections, then go all the way. Continue adding people or turn the follow button, and then it makes more sense. Please don't try to have it both ways because you can't have your cake and eat it. It
So,
doesn't make
how
sense.
can we
Pick
share
one.
this podcasting episode on LinkedIn? because when I publish on all podcasting channel, I also publish on YouTube. And when you go to YouTube, they give the option share this episode, and then they have all the social media platform, and people just share the.
Mhm.
So I just want to know what is the right way to share the episodes on LinkedIn, because there can be a good way, there can be a bad way, and there can be surely ugly way. So tell me the good way to share a podcast episode on LinkedIn.
Okay, so let's shoot straight for the good way. What I would suggest is listen to the episode you just recorded and pick one quote or one question. And then instead of saying, hey, check out episode 500 with Jane, ask an intriguing question. And the
Oh, that's
answer should
really
be
great way.
on
Yeah.
the podcast episode.
Yeah.
And that would take 2 minutes.
No.
And I'm afraid many hosts don't actually do it. You just did the interview. Maybe you have the question in mind. If not, just listen to it. Pick one and then post about this and add the link to
Yeah.
the episode. But
Just
don't
watch
say
this.
just
And they have no idea what
episode
is inside. Why would they
215.
click on
Please
it?
check it
Yeah.
out.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, that's a very good point. Just write one sentence, intriguing question. And yeah, if they want to know more about it, it is there in the podcast episode. So it is not. And which episode should be shared? Do we need to share only the
Right.
latest episode, or we can even share the previously recorded episodes? What is the good strategy?
Excellent. So think in terms of your evergreen episodes. Some content is great, even if you recorded it, say 3 years ago. But if you had one episode where every you only discuss something that is time sensitive, then I wouldn't suggest sharing that episode. 90% of the episode on New Beginnings are evergreen because the questions solopreneurs are asking themselves are basically the same. How do I launch my digital download course? What's the way to grow? And that means you can share previous episode that you like, even if they were recorded years ago, as long
Yeah,
as the
thank you.
content
Yeah,
is still
because yeah,
relevant.
if you have evergreen content, why shouldn't you share, right? Absolutely right. No, I just want some tips about there are various sections in LinkedIn profile, like headline, about section, and the description and all. Can you give us some tips about how to set those sections in our LinkedIn profile? Because some people charge even $500 to set these sections for you, and here we are providing all that information for free to our audience. So, yeah.
There's a freebie on my website that's a cheat sheet about writing the best headline, and the headline is the most important real estate on our profile because most people will see it even before visiting your profile. Another quick suggestion would be to think of the link you'd like people to go to after they visit your profile and make sure you feature that link on your profile. For example, when I go to your profile, I see the Valentine Day marketing ideas for solopreneurs. And the best part about it is that you could change it. After February 14th, you can change it to something else, like find the best and strongest link and make sure this is featured on your profile. It doesn't cost you a dime, it will take you less than a minute. To create the content takes a lot of time, but to share it or feature it on LinkedIn could be done in less than 60
Absolutely right.
seconds.
Really,
Do it now.
yeah, that's a great point. And also, people say that exposure on LinkedIn is really overrated. What is your opinion about that?
I agree. I agree because let's take an example of someone that has 2,000 connections. Maybe 2% of when they share something, maybe 2% of people will see it. So 2% out of 2,000 is 40 people. It's not a lot. But if they had 10,000 connections like you, then those same 2% would be hundreds of views. Exposure simply starts when you have 10K. And if you have 1500, that's not real exposure. It's marginal exposure. It's nice, but it doesn't make a real difference. It goes back to a previous question about
So, who
best or
is your
most.
ideal customer and to whom you can help and in which way?
Thank you very much. I have solopreneurs whose audience is on LinkedIn, and we do it basically by analyzing their LinkedIn presence, their page and their profile, the connection strategy, and identifying leads. And once we identify leads, there are a number of ways for them to get introduced to that person or to use the content they have in order
So,
for them to grow the business.
anyone who is trying to leverage LinkedIn platform, yeah, you can help them, right? And what kind of offers do you have? Yeah. What kind of
As
offers
long
do
as
you
their
have?
clients are on LinkedIn.
Group program, one-on-one program.
I have,
What I just want to know the range
thank
of
you.
offers
Uh,
because yeah, some people might be interested in your one-on-one. Some people might be interested in your I just want to know if you have mastermind. What all the offers do you have?
Great. So the offers would start with digital downloads, free ways to sell to a billion hungry buyers, or doubles your sales with strong connections. And then the next tier would be a personal one-on-one session. And the sort of mastermind would be LinkedIn Secrets for Business and land your first client in 30 days or less. And these would be the higher end offer. So working with me individually about the solopreneur's need would be a done for you service, just
Okay,
like you
and
offer on
now
your
we
own
know
website.
means basically surely you have presence on LinkedIn. So if someone wants to look for you, they will find you on LinkedIn. But what other places, if someone wants to look for you and get more information, where can they go and look for you?
Thank you very much. So they can check me on Twitter, they can check me on
Okay,
Quora,
so
but the
your
best
website.
place
I
is
was going
danielalfon.com.
through your website. Your website is loaded with resources. I was going through, and still I haven't finished going through all those resources over there. I think it will take like a week or month to go through your website because there's so many nuggets. So I would really highly encourage all the listeners. Please go to his website. You will find wealth of knowledge, and I'm telling it from my heart because generally when I go on someone's website, I scroll, I get the idea, and before the podcast, then I can set my interview questions and all. But your website, I don't think even I have gone even 10% of the resources. So it's really full of wealth of knowledge. And thank you for providing all these resources for free. Means people can just go and gain knowledge. And of course, it is a no-brainer. Means basically to take your offer because if you can provide so much for free with such a great heart and means so much of knowledge, we really cannot imagine how your paid offers will be. They will be really, really high quality. Thank you. I really appreciate. And I wanted to, I asked whatever I wanted to ask you. But if I missed on anything, and if you want to cover that, or if you want to give a parting message to our listeners, means feel free to do that now.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank you for helping entrepreneurs. And you have two passions you're interested in. And one is spirituality, and the second is solopreneurs. And it's wonderful to see the way you combine them because it's for many people, they're either or.
Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate. And thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for coming and blessing our community. And I would urge the listeners to go to his website, grab all the resources, and start using LinkedIn in the proper way. It is the best platform for B2B, but even B2C, you can do lots of things over there. Just don't be just you know they call, okay, I heard something that On TV, it is something called prime time, because the people who create the content or who are on that platform, they make the prime money, and the people who are just in the audience section, they just have good time, nothing else. So many times people are also utilizing LinkedIn in the same way. They are just being in the audience section, and they are not either engaging or doing anything with the platform. So if you want to get access to the prime platform and start really creating great revenue, start utilizing these LinkedIn tips. And hey, come back and tell us how this episode helped you. And please go and contact Daniel and let him know that, because he is pouring his heart. Okay, because I haven't seen anyone pour so much of heart on his website. He is pouring his heart. Now it is your job to grab those resources, utilize, and better your own life, your business, and he is giving you that chance. Thank you, Daniel. I really appreciate. Thank you for being a guest on our platform, and really appreciate. Keep up the great work. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much for help for
Thank
allowing
you.
me to be part of the New Beginning family today.
Hey, thanks for joining us. We are blessed to have you as part of our community, and whatever way we can help you, serve you, let us know. Please subscribe and let us know how we can help you, what resources you want. We have lots of free resources and also free collaboration joint venture groups you can join and explode your business, because most solopreneurs quit their business before they launch their first products, and I don't want that to happen to you. And that's why we have special launch service where you can monetize your digitals and become profitable as fast as within 7 days. And if you want to scale your business, join our membership New Beginning Success Collaboration, where we'll provide you MRR and PLR products and collaborations so that you can scale your business with ease and effortlessly. And hey, if you want to sell your digitals all over the world, yes, we will provide you affiliates more than 200 countries. So everything is possible. Just live your dream, follow your dream, and whichever way we can help you, do let us know. Thank you, and God bless you.